All right, well, we get this party started. Welcome, everyone, to our March CTE Teach webinar. And believe it or not, this is one of 3 we have left for the rest of the year, and then this year is over with. So we are excited you are here. We have named this one Educating for Careers Reunited. We had an opportunity to go to Educating for Careers, and a lot of people who are in our program actually not only attended, but they presented, and it was really neat to be able to see a lot of you actually in person. We have not done that in 2 years plus at least. And so we have some fantastic presenters here, but we're going to go ahead and kind of go over everything, move on. So kind of go over our norms that we always share. Again, if you've not done so already, please make sure your microphone's muted, just because we might hear some people coming in or out and have some accidental conversations you're sharing with the world. And then as we say, your attendance for this webinar is your name. So please make sure your name is correct in the Zoom link right now, because what we'll do is we will run a report after that and just kind of take all the names and then check mark that you were here, because part of the program is, you want to have 5 of these webinars attended. And then lastly, we highly encourage you, please use chat to literally chat with each other, to just talk about what's going on in your world, how mentoring is going, how the school year is going, and any questions you have, please feel free to use those features. So Grant, I'm going to share our agenda with us.
Yeah, our agenda today is relatively simple, but we're excited to reunite. I'm going to bring that theme back. So we'll start off with some trivia that Chris is most adept at rolling through, then have some time to chat with everybody as we normally do in the beginning of our seminars. And after that, then we'll get into a little bit of a choice where you get to pick which workshop you want to get into for the day. And then, as we always do, we'll round out our time with some program updates and things to keep in mind as we round out the school year.
Awesome. So whenever we do these icebreakers or we do these games, I always get flack because they say, Chris, why are you always doing stuff about like mushy movies or what's your favorite flower or anything like that? You don't ever do anything about sports or guns or anything like that. So we have decided to kind of change it up a little bit, and we're doing trivia that I call Deitypapa, which is a secret code for the Godfather. So if you did not know, this year marks not the 10th, not the 20th, but the 50th anniversary of the Godfather film, believe it or not. I won't ask you to raise your hands if you actually saw it in the theater, but this marks the 50th anniversary. So what you're going to do is let me go ahead and start this. So here we go. Let's get started with question number 1 of our Godfather trivia. I'm extremely excited about this. Here we go. Question 1 of 10. When was the release date of The Godfather? Year and month. March 72, January 2016, November 55.
If anybody was here, Chris gave it away earlier.
8. I've decided I'm always going to give away the first answer somehow. There we go. Yes. March 1972, 50 years ago. Good job, Chuck. Question 2. The Godfather films are based on a novel by which author?
I thought you were like trying to say
Shakespeare, Stephen King, Agatha Christie, Mario Puzo. Very well done, Mario Puzo. Nice job. Oh, Jimmy is up in the lead now. Next question, question 3 of 10. In the opening scene of The Godfather, who is celebrating their wedding? Sonny, Fredo, Connie, or Michael? Whose wedding is that? Somebody's getting married in that picture. Oh, and it's a mix. The answer is Connie, as you can see, or in that picture was Connie. She's her wedding day, even though The Godfather himself is busy making deals during that time. Question 4 out of 10. Which actor won an Academy Award for his performance in The Godfather? James Caan, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, or Al Pacino? What a cast. Who won that Academy Award? Oh, good. We can splatter across again. Marlon Brando. Very good. Let's see who's in the lead now. Jimmy is still in the lead. Nice. And Anita is climbing up. Fantastic. Question 5. Which actor played a younger Vito Corleone, aka Marlon Brando? Was it Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, or Harvey Keitel? Who played the younger Marlon Brando? There we go, Robert De Niro. And he and Al Pacino were never on screen until Heat, another movie I highly recommend with those two fine actors in it. Moving on, question 6 of 10. How many Academy Awards did the first Godfather movie win? How many did that movie win? 3, 9, 6, or 10? It won a few. We know that much. Yeah, the answer is 3. Most people thought it was 6, but that's close. And we'll find out why in just a minute here. Jimmy H still moving away. Whoa. Jim and Jimmy H. I sense a conspiracy going on. All right. Which actor or actress is not related to the Godfather director, Francis Ford Coppola? So 3 of these people are related to him. 1 of them is not. Which one is it? Who does not have Coppola in the family?
Been to the Coppola winery.
Really?
That's about it. My only relation. Yes.
The answer is Sophia. That's correct. So Nicolas Cage, Talia Shire, and Jason Schwartzman, all Francis Ford Coppola relatives. All right, moving on. Question 8. Finish this line from Don Corleone. I'm going to make him certain assurances in family business and offer he can't refuse a seat at the family table or concierge to the family.
Concierge. Yep, that makes sense.
An offer he can't refuse. Well done. Well done. Anne has moved up. Good job, Anne. Question 9. What is the name of Fredo Corleone's younger brother? Who is that younger brother? Is it Sonny, Michael, Tom, or Vito?
I have no idea what he's doing, and I don't know who's going to eat that.
Who is that younger brother? Michael, very good. Mr. Al Pacino, actually the youngest in the family. Last question. Here we go. 10 out of 10. What Godfather film won the most Oscars? Godfather, Godfather 2, Godfather 3, or was it a tie between Godfather and Godfather 2?
This is some in-depth knowledge.
And the answer is Godfather 2 won the most Oscars. I didn't have it on here. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there we go. Let's see who our winners are. 3rd place, Christy, well done. Ooh, she's refreshed. And 2nd place, fantastic. And then number 1, Jim H. Very cool. Well done. You guys know your offers. You guys know your family. Well done. Very cool.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, good job. So If you've not seen it, remember today, or this is the 50th anniversary, go check it out. Good movie, worth every penny.
That's awesome. So yeah, the Francis Ford Coppola Winery up in Northern California in Sonoma County is quite cool. I've actually gotten to see the original desk from the Godfather movie. It's up there, and the wine's pretty good too. So if you get a chance, it's a cool space to go. But we're gonna transition now to a little bit of FaceTime. Every time we do a seminar, we like to give y'all an opportunity just to chat and to get out some jitters or frustrations or successes, anything really that has happened relative to mentoring and teaching CTE within the context of your LEA. And the prompt you see on the screen is that we're looking forward to sharing some of those mentoring successes specifically, but usually it turns into an opportunity to chat for 8 minutes with some of your colleagues that are in the room. So I've created some breakout rooms here in a moment. I'm going to open them up. Once y'all get into those rooms, you'll have an opportunity to just chat and introduce yourself. If you don't know the individuals in the room, over the course of 8 minutes, talk about some of those mentoring successes, namely, and then if anything else comes up, we'll chat about those too. And then we'll do a quick debrief when we get back together right before we head out into our different workshop choices. So can I answer any questions about what we're doing during FaceTime? Pretty straightforward. All right. So then everybody should be assigned. You'll see these rooms open up now, 3 to 4 individuals in a room. Have some fun over the course of 8 minutes, and we'll bring you back together at the end of that time. We'll see you soon. Thank you for at least engaging in those conversations. Unfortunately, Chris and I aren't able to step into every single room, so this is an opportunity for y'all to share any highlights of what was going on, any mentoring successes that y'all have had in the last month or so since we've all been together. So feel free to raise a hand or unmute yourself or throw something in the chat. What were some of the highlights that came out in conversation during your FaceTime?
Well, this is me over here.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick.
By luck of the Irish, we weren't able to have a group CTE. The mentees' time schedules were so variant and subs totally unavailable. I did it turned out really, really well, very successful doing it individually because it's something that they hadn't really thought of much. It wasn't something that we had covered much. And we got into some real deep sharing of things that I don't think would have been available to us in a group setting. So I think I might look to do individual in some other areas in the future. This was really positive.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's pretty neat. Good learning. I'm seeing some things in the chat about teachers being a little bit more confident. A lot about classroom behaviors. Well, I know we'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how we interact with our teachers through some of the workshops that are going to be going on through our time today. So thank you for taking some time to engage just a little bit. I'm going to hand it back over to Chris so he can introduce our wonderful speakers for the day.
So we are privileged to have Educating for Careers happened again online and in person just a couple of weeks ago. As I said earlier, it was really cool to be able to see some of you actually in person. And if you saw that second keynote speaker that's doing the thing with Harvard, it was incredible. But we have 2 sessions that were there at the conference, and you're going to have an option to choose which one you want to attend. So just like good conferencing, you have a session and you're like, man, I wish I could go to all these. You got to make that final choice, and we're going to do that here. So you get a choice. We're going to open a room, and the first room is going to be Building a Robust CTE Program by Supporting Teachers and Students. So this is by Orange Unified, and Christy and Natalie Nash are all here. And basically the session is they're talking about how they've created their CTE program, fostering support and whatnot, and just having, and I know Christy's really huge, and just has a great heart for accessibility and just making sure that's all implemented and seamless throughout CTE. And then also Jim Hogue is with us from East San Gabriel Valley ROP. He did a fantastic presentation that I got a chance to go to at Educating for Careers, and he really talks about how he's created podcasts for his students, and as far as he gets into the technical part of even what mics he's bought and how he's created rooms, but how the students have really taken that and started to create content with their own voices and really created their own shows, and just it's really neat to see. So again, we're going to open up this room. Now, here's the thing. If you want to attend the Building a CTE program, you're going to click on the breakout room, and you will go with Christy and Natalie and Orange Unified to learn about that. If you want to learn about the podcasting one with Jim, just stay put right where you're at. You don't need to click on anything, and Jim will be able to share his screen and move on. So I'm going to open that up. And here we go. So you guys should have just had that option. Again, if you want to join the Building a CTE program, go ahead and click on it, and you can join that group. And otherwise, if you want to hear the podcasting one, stay put right here, and we will turn it over to Jim in just a second here. And again, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours, sir.
All right, so let's see if I can do this. I'm hoping one of the most challenging things I had to do at the conference was I had a live audience in front of me, and then I had a bigger audience in Zoom, and I had another audience on Instagram. So it was like a little bit, you know, if I was an octopus, that would have been better. But at any rate, it was okay. Of course, anybody who take public speaking will tell you that if you have 3 platforms, the people you want to focus on is obviously the live audience. You want to focus on them first, and then, you know, go on to the next. But anyways, I'm glad we're all on Zoom, and thank you. Thank you all for being here, and I appreciate you selecting this talk. And I'll find it very enlightening. But first of all, does anybody not see the blue screen where it says podcasting and the student voice? Anybody not see that? If you can, I'm trying to open up the chat room. Okay. Let me see if I can go ahead and kind of wish I had more of a. So you can ask any you can ask any questions with the chat. Actually, if trying to see if I can open this up a little bit, but I have a narrow screen where I can only see a few of you. Excuse me. Okay, well, anyways, if you have a chat, then raise your hand or just kind of speak out. So I'm not sure how I can get the chat back, but I'll do the best I can. So if y'all can see this, that's great. First of all, podcasting and the student voice. So what is that all about? Well, let me go ahead and go to the second slide. First of all, if you need to contact me, and I encourage everybody to collaborate with me. Okay, I can give you, again, if I had a chat thing window here, I'd be able to put that on there, but I don't have that. So let me see if I could, at any rate, you can go ahead and do a QR code really quickly. There it is. Okay, otherwise you can contact me. I work for Azusa Unified, so jhague@azusa.org, but it's right there. Okay, you know, we've all have phones. Okay, our students have phones. We know that, don't we? Okay, and they're like cockroaches. They just won't go away, those phones. So anyway, here we are. And so the most important thing about this slide is I want you to really focus on where it says podcasting is the greatest thing that I've ever done as a teacher. And I'm not kidding. And I'm not exaggerating. I am really being very downright honest when I say that podcasting is the greatest thing. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll see why I say that. It's a very important statement. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. First of all, my name is Mr. Hague, Jim Hague. I work under the San Gabriel Valley ROP, assigned to Gladstone High School with the Azusa Unified School District. For those of you who don't know where Azusa is, we're about 30 miles east of Los Angeles. So, you know, take Highway 210 or Highway 10, whatever it is, going east towards Palm Springs, and you'll find us there. And for 25 years, I was the owner and founder and CEO of a media company called Cristaldi. For 25 years, we've built web design, websites, we've built video. So in other words, everything that I'm teaching my students is what I offered clients. And so I transfer those skill sets over here. And it was 25 really glorious years. I worked with some of the best people in the world. And it was just, you know, at one point I decided, you know what, I'm going to move on to something else. I've accomplished everything I could. Let me try teaching so I can give back to humanity. All righty, let's go back. So this is what I teach. I teach Photoshop. I teach basically, you know, I'm the lead teacher for the Digital Media Arts Academy. When I first came here, the Digital Media Arts Academy had a little over 50 students. Now we have close to 160 students. So it's grown leaps and bounds. I teach, you know, basically graphics and web and video production utilizing the Adobe Creative Cloud. And I also am an adjunct professor for Citrus College. And I was voted as National Advisor of the Year in 2021 for Skills USA, which is a very hard distinction. So I was kind of happy about that. And so let's go on to the next slide. All right, so this is my classroom, okay? As you can see, it's an ordinary classroom. I've got Macs, I've got just everything here. I would take my camera and move it around, but I don't want to mess up the angle, but just like any other classroom, okay? So I'm getting to something here, okay? So just be patient. Now, the first thing, of course, you need to have a solid equipment, okay? You need to have the state-of-the-art equipment. And I've got these iMacs. It was very hard. We have an SSP grant, and so we're able to get these grants and a few other toys, which I'll soon be able to explain to you. So what got me into podcasting? Okay, well, first of all, number one, the pandemic. Okay, that was torturous. I absolutely hated coming here. I mean, you know, being able to teach, not being able to see my students, it just felt wrong. And so much so that even though the school was empty, I would drive 30 miles, okay, every other day to my classroom. It's an empty classroom, no one's here. I'd have my big screen and I would talk to my students through my monitor, and so I get a sense of normalcy, okay? So when they decided to bring the students back, that was so wonderful. But that's where I felt that something had to be done so that the students can themselves return back to normalcy. They needed to have an outlet to speak. They're deprived of friendships. The pandemic deprived them of socializing. I mean, yes, they still texted each other. They still but they found out too that, you know, as humans, we're built to interact. We're social creatures. We need to be around each other. And so one day, Mr. Gabriel Fernandez, as you can see his name on the top over there, he's a principal. He invited a school called High Tech High School, great school. And they wanted to talk to us about project-based learning. And my three colleagues over there, Mr. Shea and Mr. Infante, we learned a lot from High Tech High School about work-based learning. Now, they didn't tell us specifically podcast, but we came up with our own idea about podcasting because, you know, that's what I do. I listen to podcasts all day long. I listen to on the drive up. I listen to podcasts on the drive going home. And so with project-based learning, you are teaching the students to take ownership. You're not just mimicking, you know, you are mimicking real life business scenario. And as a person who's owned his own business, I know exactly how to conduct this. I knew exactly what to say, what to do, exactly what I'm expecting, just like they were my own employees. Okay, I knew exactly what they needed to turn in. So, but just like my employees, I encourage them to get creative. I urge them to collaborate and talk with each other. There is never an I in the word team. And of course, I wanted them to do critical thinking. So we all decided that it would be best to go ahead and do podcasting. And this was about 2 years ago. Then last year, Mr. Frank Chang, who's not with us, who's a director of college and career pathways, said, we have all this money, Mr. Haig, we have all this money. We need you to spend all this money. Otherwise, the SSP people will get mad at us. And I said, okay, your wish is my command. As a result, okay, there you see, that's one of the things I bought was with the money was a nice looking news desk. Isn't she beautiful? There it is. And there's my students. Okay, if you can see, and again, if you're having problems seeing, please let me know. Okay, so I have students on one end of the room, okay, doing a newscast, and as you can see in the very far left of the room, you will be able to see my sound booth, and here it is close up. There it is, the whisper room. This is a beauty, probably the best thing I've ever purchased. Okay, outside of my Tesla. Just kidding, I don't have a Tesla. Okay, wishful thinking. But at any rate, so here it is. If you need this information, okay, there it is. I'm not endorsing them. I'm not getting any kickbacks. Okay, but I had to really search around the internet for the best deal, and this was the best deal. Okay, so I'll tell you how the price is. But you can talk to them, and they come in all different sizes. Okay, and there's some booths are just for one person to occupy. There's some booths like this one I can go ahead and put in as much as 6. Okay, so we bought the more expensive one. Okay, it is $18,000. But let me go ahead and explain to you other options if you're concerned about it. But as you can see, inspiration. So it's inspired by, obviously, and I hate to say if anything is inspired by the pandemic, but at least it got my juices flowing. And of course, motivation from my principal, motivation from my colleagues, and coming together, thinking about what needs to be done. And of course, the encouragement of Mr. Chang to think big. And I wanted to think big. And I tell my students the same thing, think big. As a result, you want big? Well, there it is. Okay. We got it approved. It's sitting right there to my left, and it has been a hit. So let me go to the next one. Okay, so again, the next, here it is right here. Let's talk, instead of me talking about it, okay, the next segment of this talk is about student testimonials. So let the students say, okay, here we go. And I will let Cassandra and Ebony over here to go ahead and say. And I'm sorry, if you can't hear, I can go ahead and I'll do the best I can. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. So if you want to crank it up a little bit, okay. You can also watch this on YouTube, but I'll go ahead and.
So this is the whisper room. Let's go in. Hey guys.
Hey. So this is the podcasting microphone where you can adjust it to however you like. This is where you transfer your audio to your computer to where you can upload to your files and edit later on.
Okay, and behind us you have our green screen, and over here our lighting, and then this right here is basically the foam, and it keeps the noise from leaving this room. And yeah.
So what can we do in the whisper room?
You can do pretty much anything that involves your voice.
Yeah.
Anything that involves the voice, and you can see the inside of the whisper room. It's big enough to fit a desk. It can fit 3 people comfortably. Actually, we had as much as 6 people. We have a green screen. So not only do we also do audio work there, we also do video work there. You can actually add, you can do video. We have done. And of course, it's made out of very nice sound. The bottom line is, everybody, is that I wanted to give my students a professional experience as possible. I don't want to give them, let's make a makeshift this and makeshift that. I want to give them a real, authentic, professional experience. This is the same kind of stuff. You'll go to any studio, any audio shop, any kind of production house, you will see that there, okay? This is the latest and the greatest technology, and I wanted to give them that. All righty, so, okay, so let's go to the next one, and here's the end product. So I decided that this year I'm going to promote podcasting. And we have a website called ghspods.com. Okay, it's right there, GHS Pods. It's right over here too. And it took the school by storm. I have, my goal was to have about 20 episodes of podcasts. I'm talking 20 single episodes. I've got over 80, guys. I got over 80. Okay, and this is really good. Let's go ahead and hear some of the samples right now. And again, you may want to crank it up a bit because let's see. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear it.
Godstone has its very own community of podcasters. Log into ghspods.com and hear some of your peers speak their minds.
Buenas noches, o buenos días, o buenas tardes, cuando nos estés escuchando ahorita de noche.
Hello guys, this is the Diversify Our Narrative podcast, and this is Hector Hernandez.
Hello, my name is Joanna and I'm here with my 3 best friends,
Juliana, Kimberly, and Grace.
Hello, my name is RJ.
Hello, my name is Santiago.
And this is The Box.
The Box.
Let the student voice be heard. Let them talk. And I'll tell you, the thing is that in a lot of these different clubs and different places, let me go ahead and shrink this down a little bit so you can see. Whoops, let me go back to slideshow. Hopefully, okay, we'll just leave it there. The whole thing is that the students are inside this booth and there are no teachers, there are no other people. It's usually them and their friends. So they're talking and they keep coming back and they keep coming back and they keep coming back. I rarely have anybody miss an episode. Okay, and I'm going to address exactly about publishing sites and protecting the students. So let's go back one more. Okay, so here's Mr. Smiley and Johnny Greco, I think he calls himself.
Okay.
Hello, I am Darlene.
Hi, I'm Yvette.
Hello, I'm Elena.
Hi, I'm Nevaeh.
And we are Quadruple Chaos Podcast.
Where's
oh, wait.
Quadruple Chaos!
See, this is where chaos comes from in our name. We've been podcasting here for JHS Pods.
Okay.
It is very join us. It's very hectic.
It is very hectic. That's why chaos is in our name, but it's pretty entertaining.
Podcasts, at the beginning it was funny arguments, but now it's just doing like funny things, just entertaining. Just being ourselves into a camera, like having our own conversations. We'll bring up topics, whatever we find interesting, and then we could bring up an argument in. That's why we're Quadruple Chaos. There's a lot of chaos happening, as you saw in a few seconds ago.
Yeah, but the joy that I have to be in here is like so exciting. I love being in here. It like boosts my mood. If I'm having a bad day, like, oh, I have a podcast, mood instantly boosted. Like, it means so much to me to be here with my friends.
How you doing? My name is Jimmy Sumlin. I'm a senior at Glaston High School. Right now I'm working on a podcast about sports and all entertainment. Right now it's mainly sports. I'm working on the entertainment, but I'm very glad to do this. So once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm taking advantage of it.
Hello, my name is Priscilla Ortiz-Amore. In our second year of podcasting as high school students, my co-host and I have had an undeniable great time sharing our perspectives in the community and around the world. We've been able to address social issues along with modern-day society problems and have also been able to investigate topics that are still undiscovered. Podcasting has allowed us to advocate and discuss items involving ourselves and others. Our goal with podcasting has been to entertain and give perspective to those willing to tune in.
Hey, it's Mr. Smiley, host of the GMP podcast. And
Johnny Cardano or Johnny the Jackal here.
We just finished wrapping up the first episode of our podcast, and I gotta say, it feels really good. Just getting to talk
about whatever.
Yeah, just getting to.
Yeah. Next week we'll be covering good games.
Yeah, maybe. We gotta do game. We have a lot planned. We have game reviews. We got movie reviews. All kinds of stuff planned up in the bottom. Yeah. This first episode was really fun to make, and
hope we can do more. And see you guys next time.
What's up, Sacramento? My name is RJ, and I'm host of The Box podcast with my friend Santiago. And him and I have a lot of fun, just two teenagers talking about our thoughts, funny stories. We have guests in, and it's a really fun experience. We just share their stories, our thoughts, and actually educate people on real world news. At the same time, we like to have a lot of fun and also learn something.
So a lot of my podcasts are actually these gentlemen here. Okay, are they're juniors and a senior, And a lot of things that really get them going is to be able to talk about anything they want. As you can see, the four young ladies in the beginning, they just kind of talked about anything, just what teenage girls do. They argue, they talk, they kind of like gossip, and we allow them to do that. I am not concerned about making them and get them on iHeartRadio or getting them into NPR. I mean, if it happens, I'm going for that. But I'm just saying that's not important. The important thing is that they're able to talk and express and let out. Okay, that is the most important thing. Then I've got another. Let me go ahead and go to the next. Oh, there they are again.
I am Darlene.
Let me go. So and of course I have a couple of kids who are in group homes. They're in group homes, and they said, even though I talk, I feel as if I am being heard. Okay, and they say thank you for introducing this. Okay. Another group said, such a sense of freedom like no other. Another said, I didn't know I had it in me. Then I realized I've always had it in me. So podcasting for the student, what it does, it enlightens them, it uplifts them, it's about wellness, it's therapeutic, and it's meaningful. And I've got a couple of kids who are visually impaired, and they're playing video games and they're talking. I have another group who's actually playing video games, and they're just talking about life. They're not talking about the video games. Sometimes you play, may have kids or grandkids, or they're just kind of just talking to each other while they're playing with their phones or whatever it is, and they're just and that's what they do. And it's been a big hit. It's been a really big success. I don't have enough. I need to figure this out because I don't have enough, time in the day. Okay, so we talked about what inspired me to start podcasting. We talked about what it meant for the students. Now, another thing is that you can actually get other departments involved. Okay, you don't have to just keep this within your room, and it's not about CTE or it's not just about your media program. You can get other departments involved. For instance, with biology. Okay, you might think, what do they have to talk about? Well, actually, we went through a pandemic quite a bit. Okay, so instead of writing reports, have their students write scripts and podcast about it. For history, create documentaries. Okay, we're living in right now. Oh, believe me, we're living in historic times right now. And please don't limit what their thoughts are, whether they're, to the right, to the left, to the center, it doesn't matter. Let them talk. Okay, that's what we want. For math, you can also hold math contests. Sell the feeling, okay, the excitement of math, getting a problem right. Teachers should be encouraged to use imagination and create ideas with their students. Let the students free flow their thought. Okay, and that's what podcasting does. It's their show. Let them do it. No one has to, like I said, it's all about self-expression and about, expressing yourself. All right, let's go to the next line. Okay, so now comes the money part. Okay, here we are. Equipment. What are the equipments that you need? Well, here they are. Okay, we use these equipment here. There's our mic. If you can also go to Amazon and do a search on podcast equipment. Is Chris in here? I just want to know how much time I have left.
No, Chris stepped into the next room. You've got about 20 minutes.
I got more time then. Okay, I thought I only had 7 minutes. All right. So this is the equipment that we use, and that's the podcast. This is the Zoom pod track basically captures the sound, and you can actually have people calling in, and you can wire your cell phone onto that. Of course, a lot of SD cards, and there's an $18,000 booth. Now, okay, I've been hearing all around. My department can't. We don't have any money in our school. We don't have a budget for $18,000. Okay, like I said, I mean, this is a legit stuff that we're doing. So if you ever get a grant opportunity, or if you ever write it in, ask for it. I mean, let's see what happens, and say, yeah, we want to buy this booth, and let's just see. I bought a lot of stuff in my, the IMAX. Okay, I mean, so many things that I bought. But let's just say the money has run out. Okay, let's go to the next slide, and this is what we did. This
And
is all you
Jim,
need right there. Yes.
There's a question in there. What's the name of the booth again?
Oh, sorry. It's called the Whisper Room, and I can go back to that slide. Okay, so it's called the Whisper Room, and if you typed in the Whisper Room sound booth, and like I said, I wish I could see the chat. I don't know. I can't see my chat, but anyways, now I can barely see anything. Sorry.
Let's see if I can help manage it for you.
That's okay. If you don't mind doing that, I appreciate it. So let's see if I can. Okay, so I can see more people now. So I'm just trying to. I am not good at Zoom. Just not really good at Zoom. But anyways, here we are. All right. So as I said before, you just basically have these shields here. If you can look at my cursor, okay, we have all these shields, and we bought about 7 of them. Okay, 7 of these microphones, 7 of this equipment. You see that my students over here, Mr. Jackal and Mr. Smiley, okay, basically they're podcasting outside of the booth, and there's already a team inside of the booth. And you see right here, there's a television monitor there. So that's where people want to play video game and they want to talk while they do video game. These guys, they're analyzing video games. So basically they're doing on the outside. Works, I mean, not as good, but good enough. Okay, you'd have to use obviously Adobe Audition to kind of get rid of the background sound, but it's at least is within a good decent budget. I mean, I bought several of these, and so you do the best you can. I mean, and by the way, when I say sound booth, okay, and capturing and audio work, I don't just mean podcasting. You can do like voiceover work, books on audio, books on, all the latest audio things that we can do right now. Now, this is what I did, okay? So this, I hope you're impressed by this next one. So you look at that booth, okay? That did not cost $18,000. What I did was I built a booth inside my garage. I have a 3-car garage, and I decided I'm gonna build a booth for myself and my boy. And so I took a whole bunch of insulation foam, okay? I put them all on top of each other, and I created my own booth. Now inside, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. There's no audio involved, so again, hopefully you're able to, so you can see, I put a whole bunch of sound foam, okay? So I used insulation foam, PVC pipes, okay? A lot of sound foam, and it works 100% just like the $18,000 one, $600. And if you ever need me to help you build this thing, like just or consult how I did it, feel free to contact me. I'd be more than happy to. I'm actually creating a video. I actually filmed myself for the most part on when I built that structure, and it is really cool. And the biggest joy I get is that I get to podcast with my son, and so I really enjoy that. And again, there's so many different monetary options. If you can't afford the $18,000, I encourage you to try. Because again, I believe in giving the students the most professional exposure possible. So real life thing, real world equipment, okay? But if you can't, again, reality is reality. Do the next best thing, okay? So here we go. Let's go to the next slide. Hopefully I can. All right, so another thing that you may be wondering about is podcasts, your school requirements, okay? So if there's a situation where you have a student who really just wants to talk and wants to express himself and they don't want it published, okay, we respect that. Give them the SD card. Here it is. It's all yours. You have it, not me. Let them do it. But most students, okay, want to publish their works. So obviously you need to come with you come up with a graphic, a square graphic, okay? Got to be tasteful. Has to come up with a really cool group name, like 4 on the Floor, 4 best friend, 4 teenage girls. Okay. Mira y Ale. Okay, that is obviously our Latino podcast. And then Grandcast, which is a video cast. So anyways, they come up with their own names. They do their own thing. And it's also okay to have their picture if they choose. Podcasting should not last, a single podcast should not last more than 30 minutes. And of course, here it says fourth period. That's just before our lunchtime. All right. And we have our lunchtime, so it's okay to do a little bit less, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It's fine. But I got a bunch of guys, a couple of guys, they just go an hour. And I'm like, my God, 1 hour, what do you guys, of course, they're teenagers. They can talk for 10 hours. Okay. So anyways, but you got to set the rules. Okay. Make sure they don't take up too much time for a variety of reasons. The sequence of a podcast, the first 10 seconds is usually music. Okay. And you want to get royalty-free music. Okay. You can go to a lot of places. So Grant, maybe you can type this in. Envato, E-N-V-A-T-O, Envato, E-N-V-A-T-O, Elements. Envato Elements. And we get a lot of their songs there. I have one of my podcast team, her brother is a musician, so comes up with their own riff. I've entered my students in an NPR contest. And so they're going to see, the emphasis is on music. Anyways, the first 10 seconds should be music. The next 5 minutes is kind of generally talk about the topic, okay? So in other words, say for instance, if it's politics, okay, this person, that person, this person, we're going to talk about it more. Stay tuned, come on back. Then you go really in deep. That's when you invite guest speakers, you kind of talk, you really get in deep. And you can have up to 2 topics, okay? But if you're going to have 2 topics, make sure you spend, like I said, make sure you spend 15 minutes on one topic, 15 minutes on another. Break it up, okay? You want to close? No, I don't want to keep. Oh boy, almost press close now. Okay, keep it open. Okay, I hope I'm. Can I?
Yep, we're still good.
You can hear me?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, that freaks me out. Okay, so after the talk, then it's an outro music. Okay, so intro, a little introduction, talk in depth, and then outro music. Okay, so and of course, let's go to the next slide. Maybe I'll talk about it there. Okay, so what do I use? Well, obviously, you need to have editing tools. Teenagers will use profanity. Trust me on this. They will say things and they don't know they're saying it. And I got a couple of boys here like, well, why can't ours go get published? Because you're saying the F-bomb every 2 seconds. Oh, no, we're not. Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't believe we did. Yeah, so they got to edit that out, okay? If they choose, okay? You have the choice to decide to publish it or not. I highly recommend enter the waiting room. Okay, I guess I'll, no, anyways. Anyway, so we use Adobe Audition. You can also use Premiere. And GarageBand is a popular, music generating software, which is pretty popular. So anyways, whatever you guys are teaching, that's what you should be using. All righty. So again, but, keep in mind that you need to maintain the integrity of your school. You need to maintain the integrity of your district. Try not to have students talk too much trash. If they want to talk the trash, okay, then it doesn't go anywhere. But inside their SD cards, they take it home. Actually, no, they don't. I take that back. They don't take it home. Let me explain why. Second thing is that someone other than the team will give reviews. So you can have other students kind of review and see what they say. Just a few minutes, just for a few minutes or so. And then, you go from there and like I said, just offer positive or negative feedback. And it's better that they don't hear from you, but they hear from their peers. All right. So this is where it's important. The school owns the content. You cannot let the students take the content and upload it wherever they want. It can be a disaster. Just over the weekend, we had a dance, okay? And it didn't go too great, okay? So the vice principal immediately contacted me and said, please don't upload any images. We have to investigate and see what happened here and there. Okay, great, no problem. So your content, okay, again, you need to talk to your administrators you need, and I highly recommend waiver forms, okay? Because, we are going to upload them. My goal for my students is to get them into NPR. My goal is to get them into iHeart. My goal is to get them into Apple Podcasts. I am thinking big because I want my students to think big. And when you think big, they have big lives, okay? So I want them to go as far as they can. Now, my rule is once you leave high school, okay, once you're gone, you can take the show with you because then it's no longer part of the district. We don't have any responsibility. However, while you're in school, they need to sign. I recommend signing a waiver, okay, because if we put them on social media, and I'll go to the next slide, okay. Sorry. Okay, social media websites, if they go to social media, you create their account for them. So in other words, we have a podcast group called, Soul Lyrics, okay, or The Box, okay. You need to create the social media. You need to administer it. You need to monitor the comments, okay. Now, that's a lot of work, I know, but we got to do it. These are kids. We got to protect them. It's our duty. We got to protect them. So you may want to, like I said, social media sites, the places I aim for, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook is not existent in their world, but that's pretty much it. And TikTok, whatever. No, we won't do that. But anyways, I'm just saying that you got to be very careful, and they can't really handle it. You got to handle it. And so again, but once they're out of high school, then you can give it back to them. That's it, So I strongly recommend, like I said, recommend waivers, okay? Because we don't want parents to be, uptight that that my son is being stalked or something like that. So again, I would also not permit commenting. That's just my thing. You can, but make sure you get to read the comment first and then if you want to publish it, then you decide whether it's appropriate. All right, so make sure you respect all copyrights. Don't go to Getty Images. Trust me, they're wicked. They are very wicked. Okay, they sent me an extortion letter wanting $600 for an image I didn't even know I had. Okay, and so I got back to them saying, well, you need to prove to me that image is worth $600 because on your website it says only worth $25. Okay. Is there like a maturation fee or something like that? But anyways, didn't hear from them again. But you need to, like I said, there's Envato, free stock music, Creative Commons, okay? So you really need to be very careful, and I think it's important that we respect people's rights and their property. All right, I don't know if this is it, but we're definitely wondering, okay, so there I am again. Okay, so you don't have to fill out a survey. This was meant for the educators conference. But yeah, so I'll entertain any questions. I'm trying to get the chat room. I don't know what's happening with my. I guess if I.
Well, thank you, Jim. I can look through. So there are a couple questions.
Okay.
First one is just a copy of the slides, if that's possible.
Yes, Grant, I do have a chat room now.
Okay.
Silly me. Here they are. But now I can't say. Okay. Yes, you can. I can get you here. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Share. And I will copy the link and I'll put it in everyone in the meeting. And there it is. Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so you have them there. Of course, that let me go ahead. I'm done. So again, this is not about getting students famous. This is not about, I'm the teacher who got this kid to the Oscars, This is about, we had a very traumatic time at the pandemic. Then we went ahead and we're like allowing them to get back to normal. This is about allowing them to express themselves, okay? Yeah, so feel free to call me anytime, really. I mean, I'm here to help. Even though I may not be teaching at your district or your school, I consider anybody my student. So I'm everybody's teacher. And so if you need my assistance, but like I said, I think this is a really, really cool thing. There are really good podcasts out there, and it is about the student voice, and it is about getting students to be able to really express themselves. But what's happening right now is I have a couple of teams, about 4 students, who decided, you know what, this is so cool. I'm going to go into sound engineering. Okay, so they've enrolled into college in the sound engineering program. So that's pretty cool. Any questions?
Yeah, was there anything else that we missed in the chat? I think one of the questions from earlier was, who is the audience for the student podcasts in general?
It's usually
Who do they
their own
target?
friends. It's usually their own friends. Okay, I mean, there's no defined audience, but it's usually people within their own age group. I see here a question. Besides posting on YouTube, what other platforms do you upload the podcast? Spotify, iTunes, all of them. It's really up to you. Okay, I know here at my high school, it's Instagram. Okay, I mean, I don't know much about Snapchat, but for their parents, I would just definitely do Facebook. Okay, I would just do it. And so they can kind of see that. YouTube, as I mentioned before, you can do that. But I'm not really big on social media. My goal is to get them on NPR and Apple Podcasts. So all that stuff, I'm sorry, PODS. So I'm trying to get them in there. There's also a freebie called Blog Talk Radio, which is another radio station. My next goal that I want to build in this program is to create a radio station. See if I can get that done, even if it's an app. So are there any other questions?
Yeah, it looks like Helena has her hand raised.
Hi, sorry. So I teach middle school students, and I have been having my students make little podcasts already by using just a simple equipment, and we've been using Soundtrap just to record. I was using Ghost Synth, but then it wasn't working very well, and I'm sorry. I was like trying to take notes. So when you say you want to get your students to NPR and other types of radios, since they're middle school, I don't know if you have any kind of like specific form that, like, what is the form that I get parents to sign for stuff like that? And then do I post it under my account on NPR? How does that work?
The form has to come from the district. I wouldn't just create a form myself. Okay, should definitely come from the district and ask them if because you got to have backup. Okay, obviously getting permission from the district, and that's the first people you got to get permission from. Then the parents, when they get their signature. For middle school students, I mean, you can go. NPR accepts middle school students too. If you kind of study them, what they're doing, anybody can pretty much go into NPR, and how popular you are, well, that's up to you. But the bottom line is for middle schoolers, you want them to get it's engaging. You want them to get engaged and talk about fun things. I had a bunch of middle schoolers come here during when they visited my program, and they just wouldn't leave the booth. Okay, they were having so much fun talking, and it's wonderful. And I'm glad you're doing that. I really honor you for doing that.
Thank you.
But what you can do is create a website, and let me write this down: ghspods.com. If you want to look at that, you can actually create a website and upload your student material there. Again, we got to be very careful about social media. I highly recommend not putting middle school students on social media. NPR, yes. iHeart, yes. I wouldn't do social media for kids that young. Oh, CTE Teach podcast. Of course, we can't forget about that one.
We can't forget that one.
Oh, we can't forget.
Those are the best.
Actually, yeah, Christopher's got a great podcasting voice, and so.
Well,
All right.
I think that brings us close to the end of our time. So, silent snaps for Jim. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you all for
know
listening.
that we appreciate listening to that, and I appreciate as well the economic focus on paying $18,000 for a sound booth versus building it yourself. That there are options, and y'all can do this in any which way that suits your context. And so thank you for sharing that. And I know Chris was having a good time with Christy and crew in their workshop as well. And so some good things coming out of today. Chris, what'd you hear?
Yeah, so I feel bad because I want Natalie to finish her sentence should you get a chance. But they shared a ton of resources, and those of you who weren't in there as well also could share. We will share out all of the content, all the slides and everything, that you guys can click on their stuff. And just like I said, it was good stuff all around. So anybody want to add anything before we move on?
Just thank you.
Very cool.
Really good.
Yeah, we have outstanding people in our program and love it. So we'll start wrapping up now. Grant, I'll turn it back over to first. Let's give our presenters at least a somewhat round of applause, a virtual thumbs up, however you want to do it. But thank you both all so much. Jim, Ashley, Christy, everybody, Natalie, thank you so much. You guys are just a wealth of knowledge. And I love just the passion you guys have towards being educators and wanting to help other CTE teachers and mentors and all that. You guys do fantastic. So Grant, let me turn it over to you as far as just we're wrapping up the third quarter. We're wrapping up the school year coming up. So
no, right? I can't believe that we're getting this close to the end of the year. I mean, we were talking with Christy earlier, I think, and she's like, we'll have 2 months after, spring break to figure life out. And I'm like, yeah, but that's only 2 months, and we've got spring. We're definitely looking forward to wrapping up the year, and we've had some amazing things happen so far. So quarter three, some things to keep in mind for y'all's programs. Number one, make sure that you meet with a program coordinator in that time period. That's our semester 2 virtual visits. And so we've extended that time period. You can see to April 29th from March 31st. So spread that out just a little bit, but just make sure you get that scheduled between your mentors and administrators within the school district, like all of those folks to be present so we can talk about how things are going in your context. The second check mark up towards the top is make sure that you get your third quarter mentee training set and done, and upload resources, attach them to your activity logs so that way we can see what's happening in context. And then that last thing, like I said, complete those quarterly logs just like we did in the first semester. Outside of that, the semester 1 stipends are received. We're currently processing them. I think we've only got a handful of folks that we need to do an audit on and double check some things. So we're really close to sending those out. And if your administrators or business officials are wondering what's going on with those invoices, we can talk about those specific in a sidebar, or you can reach out to Chris or myself so we can help you there. So that's what's going on in quarter 3. And Chris, am I missing anything else to highlight on this?
I don't think so. I think you're good.
Okay. So if we move on to the next slide, we'll look at how fast our year is going by. Started up with our orientation the Orange Way on November 16th, and we've scrolled all the way down to our next webinar that'll be April 19th, talking about more tech tools for working with teachers. That's going to be a great webinar. And then we'll round it out with the 17th of May, talking about goals, looking about how we can help you all get into next year. Also, special note for those mentors in the room whose administrators might not be with us, we have May 24th. We want to make sure is calendared for our year-end advisory meeting. We'll have our survey that'll go out to all of our mentors and mentees, gather some information, and we'll share that out about how everything has gone this year.
Fantastic. So our next webinar, as Grant already said, is Tech Tools for Teaching. Those of you who have been kind of on a tech burnout, I'm excited to share. At this moment, we are working with a presenter who's going to come. If you guys know what ISTE is, it's this huge ed tech conference that happened. Last time I went to it was in Philadelphia. The presenter, his name's Eric Kurtz. He has informed us he should be able to present for us that webinar. And he did, I don't know, he must have did 6 or 7 sessions at that conference. And so he's gonna hopefully be here, share with us the tools that he has. He is like not just a Google certified guy, but he's like a part of making Google what it is for education. So like I said, he's working on getting his schedule fixed so he can be here for our next webinar. I'm super excited to have him. So he's a good guy, mostly because I haven't told him this yet. He reminds me of Tom Hanks. Like once you see him, you'll like, this guy sounds like Tom Hanks. That's really why I like him the most, because he's very cool that way, but I've never told him that. So yeah, so as always, check out our media. This will be here on our YouTube channel by the end of the week. And then again, just feel free to take these resources, share them. We always pride ourselves that we don't charge a dime for anything we do. We try to give as much as we can. So please feel free to check out our stuff, follow us around, and just share the resources we have for CTE teachers that we want to support. So I think that's it. Grant, turn it back to you, and I'll put this in chat.
Yeah, that takes us to the end of our time today. We see some of the thanks and the appreciation. Feel free to reach out to us to get Christy, Natalie, or Jim's information if you don't already have it, and we'll help in any way we can. But as Chris is putting this up here, and I believe we'll put in the chat, make sure you complete this exit ticket before you take off. And we'll stick around for a few moments to answer any individual questions or have any sidebars. But otherwise, thank you all for being here today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all. Have a good spring break.